The Russia-Ukraine war could be headed towards a dramatic diplomatic turn. A new proposal is gaining traction in Washington and Moscow, but sources are calling a secret 28-point peace plan aimed at ending the conflict. This plan, reportedly backed by the United States under President Donald Trump, could redraw borders, reshape Europe's military balance, and force Ukraine to make significant territorial and defense concessions. So can this finally end the Russia-Ukraine war? Or is this a settlement on Russia's terms? In this video, we break down what we know so far. According to multiple reports, US and Russian officials have been working on a detailed 28-point roadmap to stop the war between Russia and Ukraine. The framework is said to be divided into 4 pillars: peace in Ukraine, security guarantees, European security, future US-Russia-Ukraine relations. This approach is reportedly modeled after the Gaza ceasefire negotiation structure: long, multi-stage, and highly transactional. The effort is being led by Steve Witkoff, a close Trump ally, while on the Russian side, Kirill Dmitriev, head of a major sovereign wealth fund, is involved in communication. Dmitriev has been quoted as saying,
"We feel the Russian position is really being heard."
Meanwhile, Ukrainian officials say they are not formally part of these talks and have received only indirect signals from Washington, not an official proposal. If the proposal advances in its reported form, Ukraine would be required to make major strategic concessions. These include ceding territory to Russia in the Donbas region, including areas Kyiv still controls, reducing the size of its armed forces potentially by up to half, giving up certain long-range and high-precision weapon systems, granting official language status to Russians, allowing formal recognition and protection of the Russian Orthodox Church across Ukraine. Sources quoted by Al Jazeera and other outlets say these terms are viewed in Kyiv as heavily favorable to Moscow, with one official describing it as a deal that is very comfortable for Putin. In exchange, the US is reportedly discussing a package of potential benefits for Kyiv, such as long-term security guarantees from the West, increased European defense cooperation, potential NATO-style protections without full membership, continued funding for reconstruction, possible long-term commitments to protect remaining Ukrainian territory. There are also discussions of sanctions relief for Russia if a deal is reached. For Moscow, that would be a major win, unlocking frozen funds, reopening trade, and easing international isolation. The Kremlin, however, publicly denies that any new proposals are being negotiated beyond the Alaska framework discussed earlier. This effort comes at a turning point in the battlefield. Russia has stepped up its advance toward key hubs in eastern Ukraine. Meanwhile, Ukraine has intensified long-range strikes on Russian oil infrastructure, hitting deeper into Russian territory than before. For the United States, this plan may also serve a broader strategic objective: resetting relations with Russia and reducing America's financial burden in Ukraine, especially as domestic pressure grows against endless military funding. For Russia, a negotiated settlement, especially one involving territorial concessions, would cement control over occupied regions without the cost of prolonged war. And for Ukraine, the choice is becoming increasingly stark: continuing a grinding conflict with shrinking resources, or accept a settlement that preserves the state but sacrifices strategic ground. India and China remain among the largest trade partners engaging with Russia during the war. While this peace plan is not directly about energy trade, a deal could reshape the sanctions regime and alter global oil flows. If the US softens sanctions on Russia as part of the peace process, India may gain easier access to discounted Russian crude. Secondary tariffs proposed by the US could be revisited. Geopolitical pressure on New Delhi to reduce imports may weaken. A shift in global oil pricing could follow. However, if the deal collapses, existing tariffs, including the 50% duty already imposed on India, may remain or escalate. Washington could continue framing India and China as primary funders of Russia's war effort. Energy shipments could face increased scrutiny. So while India is not a negotiating party in the peace plan, its energy diplomacy will be significantly affected by the outcome. There are 3 scenarios. Number 1, a negotiated freeze. Active fighting stops, but disputed borders remain unresolved, similar to Korea. Number 2, formal territorial settlement. Ukraine concedes land, Russia gains recognition, sanctions ease. Number 3, full rejection by Kyiv. Talks collapse, fighting continues, and Ukraine seeks more Western support. At this stage, Ukraine is signaling resistance. Kyiv has repeatedly maintained that no peace plan is acceptable without full restoration of territorial sovereignty. Washington is signaling that the terms are still being shaped, and Moscow is signaling that any agreement must reflect realities on the ground, meaning current territorial control. So the question remains, is this a serious effort to end the Russia-Ukraine war, or a geopolitical settlement that forces Ukraine into concessions it cannot accept? What do you think? Can this plan bring peace, or is it a dangerous compromise? Tell us in the comment section.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.